Hmm. Nice little creepy videotape library here. So we're on a boat, by the way, if you're just tuning in. The shells are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers pulling up thick on their spines. Birds. Funeral thing. Weather. Well, we know what we have to pick here. Funeral thing. It's a man in a green jacket. He's holding a pillow. An elderly couple sit on folding chairs in the middle of a TV studio, undecorated except for a funeral lily in a thin blue vase on the table. The lights are a bit too dim to make out their features. She reads from a newspaper with unhurried efficiency. Gloria B. of Munfordville passed away on Monday at her residence. Survivors include her children, Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and Bobby, all of Munfordville. A memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. Thursday at Hatton Huffman Funeral Home in Munfordville, with cremation to follow. She never knew Gloria. He thinks he may have heard the name, wondering aloud if he ever worked at a cafe down there in Munfordville. The woman who ran that place was once called Gloria, or maybe still is. They'd take a call, someone who knew Gloria B., if not very well. The caller once installed a satellite dish at Gloria's house, a 900 square foot ranch-style home on 2 acres, at a dead end backed by weeds and pine. When the caller mounted the ladder up to Gloria's roof, she slid open her window and tugged urgently at his pant leg. He followed her gaze behind the house to 2 wild turkeys picking through the weeds. Gloria and the caller watched, silent and still, as the huge birds foraged obliviously into the trees. Then he installed the satellite dish. Sad. I don't think I have an option. I have to search. Watching someone watch tapes without being able to see the tapes, that's gotta be, let's just say that's not high on my, desired gaming experience list. Question mark. Whew, glad I made some coffee. This is not easy. That awful hum. It seems to start before Shannon even hits play. Then there's the familiar room. There are the blank gray walls marked with tape, and school desks, and this time she notices a few more details. The murky carpet, like standing water. Some video equipment stashed in the corner, a row of lockers. And there's Weaver, looking serenely at the camera. As before, she starts speaking, and, as before, there's no sound but that hum. Shannon finds Weaver's words coming back to her, as they appear in captions on the screen. Mail, school, and these magnificent tragic horses. Go underground, as deep as you can go. The air is cool and the earth is damp. And when you close your eyes, you are surrounded by the dead. Remember where that is? You'll find your way from there. I think this place is what you're looking for. Some of it will wash away soon, but I think you'll be happy here, even without the mail, school. The text repeats for a few minutes, and Shannon stops the tape. Okay. Main dock, we can leave? I'm okay with that. No, it was only a few notes. Slow and sad, like funeral music, you know? I don't remember it being sad, just simple and unburdened. Maybe that's what funeral music sounds like to me, unburdened. Oh, hello. Kate and I were just trying to remember the Mammoth song. But neither of us have heard it for years. We'll just found the mechanism. In the mammoth's belly, hidden in gritty, matted fur. Ha! It's like a big music box, a slowly spinning cylinder covered in metal pins that pluck her dulcet guts and pump the bellows in her bowels. But some of the pins are rusted and worn away, easy to replace, if we can ever remember what the notes were. Did I hear you browsing the archive next door? Find anything good? Where did all those videos come from? People just left them on board. Passengers, I mean. They used to all be movies and that kind of stuff. I like nature documentaries especially. Some people left home movies or little art videos they'd made, but that damn VCR devours anything you leave in it. It just switches into record mode at random. Uh-oh. I think. And picks up whatever's coming in over the antenna. Of course, the only station we get down here is that WEVP. Community television, you know? They've got that show with the gentleman playing banjo in his birthday suit. I'm sure you've seen it. Oh, yes. And if there's no tape in the machine when it tries to start recording, it makes this awful sound, like putting a squeaky toy in a food processor. I can hear it above deck. Awful. That's why I put the sign up. Please do not rewind after watching. At least that way nothing gets taped over anymore. Where is the station, WEVP? I don't know. Will? I don't know. I guess I never thought of it. It must be ready. It must be nearby, right? It is community, quote-unquote, television. Dashiell would know. Yes. You should meet Dashiell. He did a lot of volunteer work for WEVP in the early days, wiring up antennas and relays, stuff like that. I think you two would have a lot to talk about. He works at the telephone exchange. No, I'm afraid he's been let go. Oh yeah? That's odd. He still takes the ferry to work every day. I'm sure he's at the telephone exchange right now, in fact. I dropped him there a few hours ago. We're stopping at the telephone exchange again shortly to deliver their mail and pick up their trash. You should go ashore them when we do. Ask for Dashiell. I rarely miss a chance to lounge on the beach around the rum colony, and I do enjoy a drink, though I don't find their signature liquor suits me. But this time I elected to stay aboard and shoot the breeze with Kate over some mineral water. Still, I heard reports. I heard the old man went a little deeper in his cups. Not at all surprising. He seems to have some momentum, and Patch mixes up some pretty magnetic drinks. Oh, if we're talking about the rum colony, I should tell you about Patch. He's the bartender, general manager, creative director. I guess that means he books the music. He's pretty much run the place for the last 7 years. A lot of folks assume he owns it, but that is not the case. The rum colony is owned by a dead man named Vernon. Technically, it would be owned by the power company, who once bought a sizable interest from Vernon as much as part of a state-sponsored investment program. But a clause in that arrangement requires them to keep their hands off the day-to-day, and most of the profits, so long as Vernon walks this earth. The upshot of all this is that nobody came forth to identify the body. Patch is a good guy, though. Kind, trustworthy, and he mixes a strong Mai Tai. If that's your thing. You know, I will give this game one thing. It has atmosphere. I can't take that away. Valkyrie and Homer lounge below deck. The Mucky Mammoth again. Well, those were two dogs. While those two gentle beasts kept things under control aboard the Mucky Mammoth, I went ashore with the rest of the crew to make use of a public telephone. I called into my answering machine, which I routinely neglect for intervals of months, to chip away at the pile. Kate checked in on a client of hers. She's a birth doula, in addition to being a tugboat captain. Did you know that? Who are you talking to? Clara talked to her sister in Lithuania. Illness in the family, I gather. Anyway, the evening hit a low point not much later on, so let's take a quiet moment here to listen to the river and reflect on the unburdened sleep of dogs. Ezra taught us a card game. Imagine we'd be wrapping up the act here. I imagine we'll be wrapping up the act. Clara draws a card. 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. Kate draws a card. 7 blue petals, 3 deep breaths, 8 white doves, 5 slow hours. What are we listening to? Oh, just this tape a friend of mine sent me. They live in the desert. The Sinks? Something like that. Sounds good on the Mammoth PA. Yeah, that's the only way I listen to anything lately. Haha. Your turn, buddy. Nine gray feathers, 7 blue petals, 3 white doves, 8 deep breaths, 5 slow hours. Oh no, you forgot. Aw, you're beaten at your own game. Haha. I'm just glad you didn't come to my turn again. You took a bullet there, my friend. It's a hard game, that's why I like it. And we're only, how many cards in now? 5 or something? I assume it will go to 52? Yeah, it's the whole deck. So in some cases, there may be a stalemate. Though not with this crowd, I don't think. We're all too soggy-brained. I know I am. I even take homemade supplements for it. Shade-grown lichen, boiled with the peel of a lemon, then frozen and crushed with oak leaves. It's a scalp massage oil. You can smell it if I get close. It dries the brain out a bit, which is helpful for good memory. If I can remember to use it often enough in the first place. Oh, don't worry. The soggy brain has its benefits too. If your brain is soft and damp, new ideas can make a clear impression, like a boot in wet sand. But Like wet sand, it can easily get muddied and washed away, so there's a trade-off, see? It's a shame we can't have it both ways, isn't it? What's this game called, Ezra? Forgetting game. Forgetting game indeed, Ezra. Kate likes to give her passengers the opportunity to make some floating around money, and that lab pays cash in small envelopes upon completion of their little gauntlet of non-invasive tests. It's a project of the university. I think they're studying... I don't remember. The mammoth also collects their trash, mostly shredded paper, though Kate says once they left half a vending machine on the dock. But nobody seemed too interested in the lab stop that night. They stayed aboard and played a card game. I read a book. Let me tell you about it. It's set in a small town in the Pacific Northwest. The town is never named, but it's colorfully described. Woolly, fog, broken, coastline, provincial, shopkeepers. Or I should say, woolly fog, broken coastline, provincial shopkeepers. The main characters are mail carriers. They're co-workers, Mimi and Jen. Mimi is older than Jen, but they seem to be at the same point in their lives. They like their work. They have a playfully antagonistic relationship with their boss. I actually only read a bit from the middle. Mimi confides in her friend about a traumatic event from her past. I don't know what the event was exactly. I guess I would know if I'd started at the beginning, like the writer probably meant me to. But I've never found that way of reading suited me very well. Death of a loved one, I think. Something like that. In my life's work as the Echo River's premier anecdotalist, I've always... excuse me. I've always found that a carefully excerpted moment is more powerful than any epic history. That's my excuse anyway, for reading books from the inside out. So I stopped there. My eyelids were getting heavy. We were headed back to the lake and a chance encounter with the Iron Pariah. I took a nap. Ezra helped Kate forage for mushrooms. We'll forage for mushrooms, sure. Would anyone watching this have any idea where this is going at this point? I admit I'm pretty lost. Besides the fact that we're at a grove foraging for mushrooms. As Ezra and Kate. That part I understand. Ezra, Kate? Oh. There's someone. There they are. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of hospital entrance. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. Plursoibella porogens. Plurosibella porogens, I should say. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture, and they're tasty, like sweet moss. Would you like a bite? Okay. Ezra takes a small bite and ruminates. What do you think? It does taste like moss. Personally, I like to be able to tell where my food came from, by flavor alone. I like to taste my surroundings. I mean, it keeps me connected to the whole thing. My mushroom hunting mentor would told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you know them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Oh, here's an important one to recognize, though. Look. See this sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides. That's Greek. Amanita means mushroom. And phalloides means, never mind. Can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Deathcap, that's the common name. It's killed a lot of people, this little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's revolutionary. Haha. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away old things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Great. Look for... Actually, just grab my mushrooms that catch your eye and throw them in the bag. Let me know when you're done and we'll see what you've got. Have fun. That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Seems like a good idea. Ezra investigates a rotting stump. Oh, I didn't see the other option. The stump is rigged with overlapping shelves of mushrooms. Striped brown, blue, gray, white. A caterpillar crawls along one of them. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. He didn't have any friends nearby. None of their new neighbors seemed to have children his age, so he played alone in the woods, alone, except for the deer. Ezra inspects a caterpillar. The caterpillar shuffles listlessly across the mushroom. It seems to be dragging several of its legs. An odd brown-black thread protrudes about 2 inches out of its head. He saw strange lights in the trees, flickering purple. He kept going. Ezra carefully picks up the caterpillar and puts it in his bag. Ezra checks out a plastic bag washed up on the island. The bag is ragged and waterlogged. He nudges it with a stick, coiling up a plastic thread and spreading it out on the beach. He'd taken a knife from the kitchen, selected for its long, serrated edge. Meant for slicing bread, its teeth had reminded him of a saw blade, and he was determined to collect some firewood to heat the house. There are no mushrooms in the bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. Haven't we read this already? She trembled, sweating. Yes, heavy coat. It was warmer indoors, and she was following directions. No smoking within 20 feet of the hospital entrance. So she stood by a hot dog cart parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Kate kneels in the grass. Kate digs in a bare patch of dirt. Kate examines some tree roots. Kate kneels in the grass. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to solve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. There are no mushrooms in the grass. There are no mushrooms in the bag. This is interesting. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of bats. He tripped a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of a faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer, and his hair stood on end, and there was the bird. Kate. Oh, you got one? Let's see it. Ezra hands Kate the caterpillar he found on the tree stump. Is this a caterpillar? Oh, I see. Did you get a look at his black thread coming out of his? Did you get a look at his? Did you get a look at this black thread coming out of his head? That's actually a fungus. It grows in the caterpillar, eats it from the inside out, even changes its behavior a bit. They kill for those in Tibet. I don't have much use for them in my line of work, though. You've got me beat. I didn't find a thing. So, what do your parents do for work, I mean? My dad used to sell windows. People were building a lot of new houses, and they needed a lot of windows, but then they stopped building houses. My mom worked at a bakery and a bar. Sometimes she would see the same people in the morning and the evening. The bakery closed, and she doesn't work at the bar anymore, but she still goes there a lot to see her friends. Do you have family? Ugh, I almost had a baby once. I left home when I was very young. Not much older than you, actually. Let's try that. I bounced around jobs and shelters and finally found my way down on the Echo River. Never looked back. Years later, my mother got sick and I tried to visit her, but it was too late. She was all spaced out on fevers and morphine. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me now. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. Haha. What's this island for? It looks like someone made it on purpose. Oh, right. It's kind of a nice, simple shape, pleasantly minimal island geometry. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know about much this place. I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial to something. I'm getting vibes. What is the game? The time travel. That'll come. There are two installments of it. I'm blanking right now, but yeah, it's basically one big loop. I guess I don't really know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be a memorial to something. Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. Ezra kicks the dirt. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's okay. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling, spiritual even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society and began to study in earnest the medicinal uses of fungi. It's a mystery. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Ezra examines a large stone monument. Monument is covered with lichen and pointed text. Ezra reads text. Rock graffiti. X+0 forever. Forever. Or for Ava. Ezra investigates a cypress tree. Tree smells spicy, oily. Ezra looks up into the branches. Some of the branches have been trimmed recently. Some of the branches have been trimmed recently. Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets. Uh-oh. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument has X+O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or they could be initials, Xavier and Olivia forever. Cersei isn't Oliver? What do you think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. The branches on the tree are trimmed. Oh, good observation. So I guess somebody's still taking care of this place, or just practicing their tree trimming somewhere out of the way. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is, the Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. What do you think of it? Is it full of ghosts? Oh, I don't know. Probably. I mean, no, definitely not. You don't believe in ghosts, do you? No. I've never met a young kid who really believed in ghosts. Lots of older people do, though. I wonder why that is. Supposedly there's nobody even aboard. No people, I mean. I mean, there must be something on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. Part of it could be flooded, and host to some of the eyeless fish that live in the Echo. Hey, maybe there are some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. I've heard it was in the Civil War. Someone told me she got close to it by accident. Okay. Civil War. I guess they had boats full of soldiers and supplies going up and down the Ohio River, and they fought on the river, like boat to boat, with cannons or something, I guess. Machine guns? I'm no military historian, as you can probably tell. Anyway, I guess this one just got lost, and somehow ended up all the way down here. Maybe it slipped into a cave up north. They're all connected underground. There's another version of the story where it didn't get lost. It was full of deserters. They came down here to hide. Maybe that's why it's a pariah. More mysteries. They do pile up over time, as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples, because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide. You have to hunt for them. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade, with the card game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited, or confused, or scared, but he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. Well, as mushroom hunting trips go, this was definitely one of them. This is about what I would expect, not having been on one myself. I think I'm ready to go. It's time to go. Trippy and introspective, but also scientific and biological. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it is actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump. That was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Locklucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with lock or luck, or split the difference with look, or even lick, or really anything else, but it was never going to happen. Greta Luck and Norm Luck were high school sweethearts. They took a chemistry class together where she challenged him to shoot the moon, learning formulae and compounds well enough to answer every test question exactly wrong and achieve a perfect failing grade. Their engagement was welcome news for the family businesses, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. The Lucks ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. The natural next step was to start a local paper that would become the Echo River Evening Record. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Maybe they walked around them in a spiral, like a symbol of their ever-tightening bond. Probably the rocks marked the boundaries between the two families. Lucks on the inner loop and Locks on the outer, or the other way around. Let's go with the ever-tightening bond. And it must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Oh. Gripping. I'm on the edge of my seat here. Shannon helped me fix up a mushroom stew in the kitchen. Shannon and her friend set out in the dinghy to deliver a package at the telephone exchange. Mushroom stew in the kitchen it is. Are we putting the mushrooms we found to good use? Or hunted? Alright, scene 7. How many scenes are there in this act? Back aboard the Mucky Mammoth. Add a few of these really big caps with the slimy gills. I shouldn't say slimy, moist. The lady in the video called for portobello, but I prefer never to know a mushroom by name. We're stopping at a restaurant soon, right? Sure, salmon Idas. This stew is for tomorrow. It has to simmer all day. Some things are just better done slowly. We've added the anonymous mushroom, so next we, I've got the recipe video on pause next door. I used to follow a recipe I learned from Ida herself, the best cook you're gonna meet on this river. Of course, it had a few secret ingredients. She has the good sense to preserve some mystery around her cooking, better for business. Ida is so shrewd, she swore me not only to secrecy, but to ignorance. I had to promise to forget the recipe just as soon as I'd cooked it. Let me tell you, it's not so easy to forget something on purpose as you may think, my friend. Not so easy. There's our man up here, I assume with Homer. I guess I have to check out the recipe now. The adventure continues. What's up, Shannon? Crushed tomatoes, salsa, or even a little ketchup. Here's the thing, nobody has to know. Throw in some more of the spice blend we threw together earlier. Stir all that up and crack a beer, baby. You'll be here for a while. What did she just say to do? Will's trying to make the stew right now. What was the last step he did? She just said to add something red. Before this, she was talking about the type of mushroom to use. Mushrooms it is. Don't tell me. Will says it's better not to know their names. Maybe I can help him figure it out. I kind of got sucked into this program. Better take it out of the VCR. Oh no, I'm putting one in. I took it out, right? Good. I'm saving the tape. What's up, Will? And even that wasn't enough to convince her. So I trained rigorously in the art of forgetting, studying for months under a master amnesiac. Finally, I learned to forget so quickly and accurately that I was able to convince Ida to share with me the most obscure secrets of her kitchen. As a demonstration of my trustworthiness, I forgot the names of my own parents, right there in front of her. Every time I stand to watch this legendary stew, I call Ida up on the telephone and ask her for a quick, temporary reminder. Here on the boat, we haven't got a phone line, so I had to seek out culinary wisdom on videotapes of cooking shows. So, back to the matter at hand. Next, aren't we stopping at a restaurant soon? Oh, it's you. I thought... Never mind. Hello. Right, we're stopping soon at Sam and Ida's. This stew is for tomorrow. Shannon. Hey there. Could I ask you... To Will, wait. Why are you cooking? We're stopping at Sam and Ida's in 20 minutes. It's for tomorrow. Oh, well, just don't forget about it this time. I'm not scrubbing up any more boiled over sludge. To Shannon. Sorry, listen. I have a favor to ask. There's a package for the telephone exchange, and I can't get the mammoth back here. Could you deliver it for us? That guy I mentioned from the TV station, Morse, works there now. Thought you might like to chat with him anyway. Thanks a lot. I've got the dinghy all ready to go. Maybe take your friend with you. One of you can man the outboard motor, and the other can aim the flashlight. It's dark. Scene 8. Echo River Central Exchange. Wouldn't exactly call this high fantasy. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the bats. So, you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for, cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30, they changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the bat sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator, the operator. We'll meet you on the other side of Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in, just before the bat sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Did you say bat sculpture? Bat sanctuary. Memorial sculpture. Okay. Okay, bye. Flashlight? Oh. Seems like we should want that on, in case there are alligators. This is cool. This is giving me Jaws the Ride vibes from Universal Studios. Florida, specifically, and Tokyo, if I'm not mistaken. Such a great ride. Sign, we claim these helmets and the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who bought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water, too, and swept through hidden tunnels into some awful cave we never will find, and so we guess the water buried them for us to let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Goodness, all caps. Hey, Elkhorn. That's the mine we met in, where your folks, worked, I was gonna say. Looks like it's been here a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. You think whoever wrote it is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. No, I guess you probably don't. This probably stirs up, how do you... It's fine. I'm glad this is here. People should remember this happened. Well, here we are, remembering. I didn't even know it the first time around. But here I am remembering it now. That's a fine memorial, I guess. Oh. Another series trademark, or game trademark here. Glowing skeletons. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Haha. Are you feeling okay? Oh, sure. It doesn't hurt anymore, my leg. It's just kind of numb. Like it's not there. My shoulder, too. Actually, that's an old one, though, from an accident. I'm lucky I just had some nerve damage there. It probably should have been a lot worse. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier if they could even help me take care of these medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan, consolidated. Hey, if we can find her, maybe Weaver should get you out of this thing with the distillery. She has some experience with them. Oh, sure, could be. Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even for me? Hey, why not? Seems like we're getting pretty close to finding your cousin, right? And besides that, you're young and smart, plenty of time to bounce back from whatever. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss, Ira, Lizette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Lice, got it into her mind that Liz got it into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did, or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that antique shop is closing up. I've got no use for that old truck. I was thinking we could take it. Ooh. I barely know you. Hell, I barely know anyone. It's not like I'm going to give this truck to my damn brother or something. I don't even know how to get a hold of him these days. Well, just think about it anyway. He'd be doing me a favor. You know, one less thing to deal with. Sign. Visitors to the Echo River, Kentucky Slow Bat Artificial Hibernaculum and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. This is a high-maintenance experience. The Kentucky slow bat is confused by light. If you're using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Okay. I have a feeling we're going to come across some bats here. Why does the bat from Kentucky have to be slow, huh? Uh-oh. Just see what I saw. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bat facts. Bat facts. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Whoa. Bat fact. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it's still need. One more time. But bat fact. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. Conway. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. Sometimes it's hard to know with people, too. That's a good one. Oh yeah, like, how about this weather? I guess there are layers to it, right? Sometimes you just need to get the other person talking so you can check their body language or hear what their voice sounds like. Find out if they're friendly, or angry, or drunk. Happens if I turn off the light. Bad idea. Bad idea. See what I did there, everyone? Who's having a good time? Time for some coffee. This is very cool, I bet. I mean, I want to love this game, but I'm sure part of it is that I'm trying to finish it after 2 other attempts, and it's also been out for a while. Did I just miss the bat facts? No! I love bat facts. Oh, that's cool. Check out that umbrella. Everything's gonna be fine. Tra-la-la-la-la. That fact? Sign. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive through winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing the disease. It spreads quickly, and it is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder, as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the Kentucky slow bat be two more lost species, wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time. So the sanctity of this artificial hibernaculum is our best hope of preserving them. As you leave the Echo River, Kentucky slow bat, hibernaculum, and sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of, quote, hitchhikers, end quote. You know what you say about those Kentucky bats, they're pretty slow. No offense intended to anyone in Kentucky, by the way. Just kind of poking fun at this name. Technically, you still live in Kentucky. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. Just don't fall asleep. Oh, very little risk of that. I've got a lot on my mind. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. I guess it's on me now to... Hey, it's our man D. Dashel. Softly. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. Are you Dashel Morse? Hmm? Him? I mean, me? Yes, I'm him. Sorry, I've been hacking on this thing all night. My thoughts are starting to come in alternating currents. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these little bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid, for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true, they had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. What did you come here for as a kid? I usually came here with my grandmother. We took the train out to the town she lived in, or in the other direction back to my parents' home. In my memories, it was always cold. Winter, I guess. Sometimes now I walk along a tunnel, run my hand along these wet stone walls, and close my eyes. Ringing footsteps and the drip, drip, drip of the grimy stalactites. Well, the river shifted, and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed, even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in wartime, running telephone wires behind enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I suspect that, actually, they were easier to climb. I miss that, actually. They were easier to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up the wiring in the crystal room for the WEVP folks. WVP is a TV station, right? Kate says you're the only one who can tell me where it is. Did you ever know a girl named Weaver? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple of times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with writing and wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all that gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything. Just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Poppy? Plaque. Abel and Eloise, the lovers' couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. Lovers' couriers, I should have said. Or no, I think I said that originally. Plaque. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft. But old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets, and deliver them to other people nearby to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where we left them. Poppy. Just set it right over there. Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a minute. Who does that parcel claim to be from? That's weird. There's no label on it. Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from a secret admirer and not a snake from an assassin. So, who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashel. He's been working on that obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashel. You know, he's not really. He has let go a while back. He was let go a while back. A long while, actually. When they started restructuring, he was one of the first to go. But he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable project. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume, but I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men who needs to work, you know? Don't we all? Doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. Ghost jobs? It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us: Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Lois, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller. But he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own. So they hired Beryl, Jana, Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing, and they started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Lois left one Friday evening, and we were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Jana and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls were reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sujiko and Wilma were moved into energy sales, cold calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped. The hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice, with a smile, became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. Oh, I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. Yeah, I'm impressed. So, where was I? It was just Loretta, Angie, and you. They were the smart ones. It's how they held on so long. They went into voice work, recording canned phrases for IVR systems and robocall polling. I could never do that. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. Are you lonely? Sure. This place feels different when it's empty, cold to the touch. And, you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching. even on the phone. That's an electric touch, an intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. So they tried using some clunky old mechanical relays. But then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc over decades around the specific tempo of its human operators. So short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that officially is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you, they have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes in to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator lights switch on, and I make the connection. Do you miss talking to callers? You know, there's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who wasn't even human. Timely. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate that timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. A couple days? That's what I said. But this has been going on for over a year, and a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? Why don't you just quit? In this economy? No, you're probably right. Working in silence for peanut shells, waiting to be replaced by a robot, it doesn't sound very dignified, does it? The reality is that I've been working here for my whole adult life. I came here as a girl, and I'll leave as a middle-aged woman. I don't know if I'm ready to be her yet. I sound like Dashel. Oh, the parcel, right. Over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. Ah, skeleton friends. And an empty boat. What's this? Why am I nervous? Could have been a lot scarier. She returned on the dinghy, alone. She had a strong sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. She met a family of 5 on a flat-bottom skiff. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. She met a flower salesman on a raft. She met a painter of shipwrecks. He never worked from photographs, so his paintings could be divided into 2 categories. There were the ones he painted from life, and the Echo River was a very good source for these because its currents were so unpredictable and the tunnels so dark. He rendered those in oil paint by lamplight, working for hours cross-legged on the porch of his houseboat/studio. Then there were the ones he painted from memory, most of the memory of a single wreck he encountered as a much younger man, picking up litter where the coastal highway cleaves to the rocky beaches of Northern California. Those were done in watercolor. He preferred to work on them in the morning, in a room he rented near the airport in Louisville. He had some postcard-sized sketches in charcoal, too, of the Iron Pariah. It wasn't a wreck exactly, but it felt right. He tried to scribble one down every time he encountered it. Though it was so unpredictable, he was so focused on details, he usually just ended up with a handful of inscrutable marks. Inscrutable marks? She met a family of 5 in a flat-bottomed skiff. She met a flower salesman on a raft. They floated alongside in buoyant pots, bobbing untethered. He corralled them with a long pole in a stream of small adjustments. She leaned out over the water to get a closer look. He just started work for the day, so his stock was full. He pushed a few bouquets her way. First was a rustic bundle of mums. He suggested it would make an appropriate apology bouquet. Next, a simple mixture of snapdragons made to look wild. She thought it looked eager, and he agreed. Finally, a rustic mass of blue-petaled flowers of many different types. He said it was for a particular kind of person. If it didn't remind her of anyone specific, she'd better move on. He drifted away with the current, pushing his flowers along with the rafts. She met a family of 5 in a flat-bottomed skiff. The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in a blue tarp. 3 paddled, the 2 adults and the older child. The 2 younger children slept. They'd been traveling all night, first by car, and then for the last few hours by boat. Hungry and tired, they didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. But the adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They asked her about her river journey. She said she was on the way to Sam and Ida's. She told them about the memorial. They were sympathetic, no minors in their family, but he was once injured at a warehouse job, and he had to fight for disability pay. They knew what these companies were like, and what it was like to have to assert your humanity to them. They wished her well and paddled on toward West Virginia. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while. Then, she knew what she'd been craving, a moment of silence. Whew. Sam and Ida's. Talk to Homer for a sec. Shannon inspects Homer's eyes. Homer's left eye is clouded by a dense cataract. She wonders if Homer has had any sight at all on that eye. She pats Homer on the side and says something comforting. Oop, Sam. Hello out there, headed up or down? Sometimes I wonder myself. Best never to die with doubt in your heart, though it can't always be helped. Well, head on upstairs and she'll take care of you. I'll be along in a minute. I think we're at Sam and Ida's. Not sure what's giving it away, but I have a sense. Just in time. We've already finished eating, but we're about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board, getting ready for a show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something you'll like. Ida's a bit of a local celebrity, for her cooking, I mean. Hey, Ezra was just asking about you. He's around the corner playing a video game. Maybe go let him know you two are back, or where's the old man anyway? Oh, bad luck. You'll get it next time. To Shannon. Hey, got a quarter? He's almost got this. It's true. Sure, I have 1/4. Thank you. So, where's... He left. Oh, okay. I have to say, I didn't know him very well, but he seemed like that kind of guy who was always on his way to somewhere else. Yeah, I'm gonna go sit down. Cool. The food is good here. I think everyone else is finishing up, but you could probably get something to go. Tezra, alright, Claw Maestro, let's give it another shot. So, let's see what's on the top of the pile here. There's a stuffed octopus, a plastic bag full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. That octopus has a leg wrapped around the boombox underneath it. The shells are pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip the bag well. The cowboy hat is in the corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in or not. Those headphones might be a good bet, but I can't see the cord. It could be wrapped around something. What are you going to try for? I can get the octopus. Well, alright. I admire your confidence. Okay. When I put this quarter in, you'll have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. The octopus is square in the middle. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I've got a slightly different view of the field from up here. Ready? Here we go. Johnny inserts the coin, and the machine awakens. 8. The claw hovers in the front left corner of the machine. Ezra pushes the joystick up. 7. The claw hovers halfway along the left wall of the machine. Ezra pushes the joystick right. 6. The claw hovers in the center of the machine. Ezra pushes the button to drop the claw. It grabs the octopus. The octopus is attached too securely to the plastic boombox beneath it. It slips from the claw's grasp. No! Oh, no good. I had a feeling the octopus was a little too comfortable in there. Hey, listen. It sounds like that old man you were following around. I guess he had to leave. Is he coming back? Well, probably not. He got himself on a trajectory, you know? He's got himself on a trajectory, you know? Anyway, I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. I just wanted to make sure you know that. Could I keep going with you? Hey, I've got no objection. We have a pretty ad hoc thing going on, me and Junebug. I'd have to talk to her, but I bet you're welcome to tag along for a while if you're into it. Hey, maybe we still have time to poke around this place a little. There's some pretty wild stuff in here. Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I've never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food coated with shellac or something, preserved. Oh, and look, this tentacle-looking thing is half eaten. This is someone's meal that they didn't finish? I dare you to take a bite. Haha, you first. Okay. Whoa, hold on, I'm just kidding. If Sam and Ida preserved this half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about, like a beloved uncle had a mid-meal stroke, so they kept it in his memory. My folks left behind a bag of sunflower seeds, but I threw it away. I should have kept it, right? Oh, no, I didn't mean that, kid. You don't need to hang on to every little memento. I'm sure you still remember them just fine. Are you worried about them? Yes, it's weird that they just disappeared. Yeah, listen, that's okay to be worried. You're doing fine. Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck and delivery and all. It was. That's what she's saying. He just left it behind. To Shannon. But you're going to deliver it anyway? Why? He's my friend. He needs my help to finish his job. That's right. He's our friend too. Johnny and I will help you unload when we get there. To Johnny. Lift with your legs, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. So, how was everything? How's the sweet cave snail? Devastating. You're a killer, Ida. Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across a whole cave snail colony down there about a year back. We've been leaving rock candy for them to gorge on since. We just started harvesting earlier this month. Yes, it's all about patience down here. Everything grows more slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Leith that lives 200 years, and its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I've got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember why I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't even remember what kind of bones they are. Oh, we need one for the road. Clara said she wanted, something primordial, she said? What does that mean? Kate reviews the menu. I think she meant something from very deep in the lake. Ah, could be. Hand Shannon the menu. Here, you pick. I'm no good at this. Inspects the menu. Shannon inspects the menu. How about Sweetwater cuttlefish spread? Good choice. Your friend will love it. I'll have that right out, sweetie. Ezra leans over the table and carefully examines the preserved food and drink. He prods a half-eaten tentacle. The tentacle is solid and fixed in place. We used to steam those. Juicy, but I prefer them smoked now. Sorry I startled you, sweetie. Whose food is this? This is the diver's table, and this was the diver's meal. This food is about 15 years old, it's true. Things were different then. Nobody came to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on. Sam, my husband, Sam, was depressed. He couldn't catch anything that was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped and frozen or dried, and I just threw it in the fryer. We've both come a long way since then. Well, two young men came in for dinner, seasoned divers, they said. Over 10,000 hours between them and Lake Leith alone. They'd been out all day, salvaging parts from a riverboat wreck, and had worked up a fierce hunger. They said. They ordered the whole menu without even looking. It was a short menu in those days. I set them right here and went back to the kitchen. Sam was at the next table doing a sodoku and drinking malt liquor, his usual routine at the time. An hour later, I was clearing up when Sam came bursting into the kitchen. Ida, he said, kind of frantic, these divers are still hungry. Bring them another course. And I said, they already ordered the whole menu. Sam said, make something new. Keep bringing up dishes, whatever. Just keep bringing out food. So I did until the small hours of the morning. I made up so many new dishes that night, I could write a book, and it was good, inspired. But I was working so hot and fast at the burning edge of inspiration, I didn't think to write any of it down. And I was so wrecked with exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember what all I'd done in the kitchen. Sam thought we could make a photograph of the leftovers. We could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right. So we just shellacked the whole table. Now, when I need inspiration for the menu, I come and look here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. I heard one of them complaining to the other, Let's just pay half and let them charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making up food faster than we could ask for it. It all worked out. Things have really turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular now. The success in our expanded menu inspired Sam too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. I'd better get to work. Stay right here, sweetie, and I'll bring you a treat on my way back out. Ooh. Maybe time for me to wrap up kind of soon. Getting close to the hour and a half mark. Well, buddy, I guess you're the only catch of the day. The one and only. Haha. So, what are you? You look like, well, some kind of squid, I guess. Kind of a mopey little guy, huh? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. You smell like kind of dusty, dry. Where the hell have you been swimming? Skin feels like sandpaper, huh? Well, she'll figure something out. I think I'll call you Gentle Squid. Welcome to Salmonitas, the one and only Gentle Squid. I hope you enjoy your stay. I mean, not too much. Have you ever been a creature like me before? Have you ever seen a creature like me before? You're pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first, except there were 2 divers who went before me long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you anyway? I wonder. They ate here once, back in the bad old days. 2 young guys. Could have been brothers, maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword. I hadn't been able to catch a thing. So I had just fried up something from Frozen. Well, these guys were hungry enough to eat it and asked for more, and they did. At least as much talking as eating. And they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers, and like I said, they might have been brothers. They had a kind of rivalry going between them or something. Ida was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly and quietly into the kitchen for a minute and told her to just keep bringing out food. I figured they wouldn't notice, caught up in their boasting as they were, and I wanted to listen. They went back and forth for hours about all the deep and dangerous dives they'd been on, new tunnels they discovered, all the weird creatures they'd encountered at the weirdest depths of Lake Leith. Is it Letha? Leith? I'll have to look into that. It was like a dance, no, like a boxing match. Each story went deeper than the last. And I listened to every word of it, memorized every description of every tunnel and diving route they discovered. That's my map now, you see. For 15 years, I've been using routes these 2 young divers discussed right there at that table. Yeah, I could write a guidebook to the depths of this lake, but I don't dare. Someone would steal my good diving spots, and then where would we be? See, people come here from all over just to try our daily catch, because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of it down, I just preserve that table where they had their meal so I can look at it to jog my memory. Like, they were eating pickled crab, and they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, huh? It's my own secret code. Well, I'll be straight with you, Gentle Squid. There is one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. In fact, I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. I told you those boys were competing, right? One-upping each other. I mean, each getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales. Well, I navigate mostly in the dark down there, just going by touch and a kind of mental picture I can construct from their detailed boasts. And every time I explore a new diving spot from those recollections, I have to weigh it all against the risk that I'm headed right into a dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some ground in their little duel, so he could have slipped a fake one in there. Maybe told a fib about some dive he went on and found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator. And when I get down there, my diving bell cracks open on a sharp rock where he said that fridge would be. And that's the end of Salmonitas. To be honest, that possibility puts the fear of death in me every time I touch water. Well, lucky Gentle Squid, you got quite the story there. Hey, Sam, good haul tonight? We'll see what she can make of it. Yeah, pretty good, I think. I had some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacles just about sealed it up. I picked away for half an hour before I gave up and went around the other way. But I got the catch of the day. That's the important part. That's what people travel for. What's the catch today? This here's a gentle squid. Mopey, sandpapery, old squid. I don't know how she'll fix them, but that sandpapery quality ought to do something for, what do they call it? Mouthfeel? Will you stay for a drink? I've got a dark rum that goes well with coffee. Haha. It's a bit early for me. Yeah, seems like it's always too early. Oh, she's got your food ready. You all enjoy your meal, all right?
This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are placed beyond the blue. Many friends and kin have gone on before, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? Angels beckon me to heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore. I have a loving mother.
Well, that was a memorable way to end it. And credit where credit's due. This game can really surprise you in nice ways sometimes. See that? It just looks like a swirling mess of garbage, doesn't it? Well, that's what it is. I don't know why trash seems to collect right there, with all the spots on the lake. It's always been that way. Everyone just navigates around it, like it wasn't an island or something. I think I see some desks and chairs swirling around the edge there. Those all-in-one desks, like they have in schools, if I remember right. It's been a few years since I saw the inside of one. Those must have washed down from somewhere. I've never known there to be a school at the lake. Oh, there was Gemini School of Beauty. It was run by his sisters, Cassie and Paula, indistinguishable except for their haircuts. But I wouldn't think they'd have used desks like that. We used to stop there most every night to let someone offer a cheap haircut. A student stylist, you know, they spared many a sailor the pain of a botched do-it-yourself deal. But I guess they got in deep to the power company. Those blow dryers and curling irons burn a lot of coal. It's a shame they had to close down. The haircuts are gone, but the hair keeps growing. Yeah, this cluttered place makes a decent local museum. It's as good a history as I could ever tell. We arrived at a small houseboat neighborhood that sometimes hosted concerts for the pleasure of its residents, where Clara was scheduled that night to perform. Ezra stayed on the tugboat to help Clara with her performance. right, scene 10. This act runs deep. The mucky mammoth. It's a very special tape player you have there. It can play forwards or backwards, slow or fast. You may discover some completely new sounds tonight, Ezra. So, are you ready? Ezra, yes. Excellent. I can tell you have a good intuition for sound, and that's very important in this piece. Any questions before we begin? What's the name of your music? It doesn't have a name. Would you like to name it? Okay. A song about rivers. A song about rivers. Perfect. How do I know what to do? Play your tape player. You may play any tape at any speed and volume, even backwards. Just listen to the music and use your intuition, or it may be better if you try not to listen to the music. The technique is called indeterminacy. What will it sound like? There's only one way to find out. All right, let's begin. Ezra selects a tape labeled cat. He plays the tape backwards very slowly. Cat backwards slowly. That should be good. Lovely. Ezra selects the tape labeled cooking show. He lets the tape play without interference. Not sure this sounds particularly different from cats being played backwards to me. Ezra selects the tape labeled cat. Plays the tape slowly at first, but gradually speeds up. Ezra selects the tape labeled cat. He flicks the volume knob on and off rhythmically. Everyone having a good time? How did we get here? Which life choices did we make to arrive here? A round of applause? Thank you, Ezra. Was that okay? Oh, I don't think I understand your question. I just don't know how to tell if it was good or not. I'm with you on that. I was just pressing buttons, but you're like a theremin scientist. Scientist? Oh no. But like a scientist, I experiment. Unlike a scientist, I have no hypothesis. I try not to be attached to outcomes. Does that make sense? My violin teacher used to tell me to play like a tourist. Act as though you've never been there before. I hope you'll continue making tapes, Ezra. I'm sure there are many more people who would enjoy listening to them on this river and elsewhere. No sleep for the wicked, I guess. I met a photographer once. I mean, one in particular. She even took my portrait. I can't imagine why. She said it would immortalize me. That was a metaphor, of course. She meant I'd never be forgotten. As she was disembarking, not far from here actually, the film fell out of her bag and was borne away by the current. I was working on deck at the time. She shot me a sad, apologetic glance, but I wasn't bothered. It's no shame to be forgotten. Silo of Late Reflections. Hello? Well, I think the Silo of Late Reflections may have bricked the game for the time being, so I think it's a good stopping point. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll pick it up where we left off next time. Thanks. Take care.